You, that's what we do. Welcome back. Welcome back. We are back. The Amateur Hour podcast. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It feels weird saying this, mate,
Yeah, it
but it
does.
feels good saying it. It feels good saying it. Me and Connor have just been updating ourselves with where we're at,
Yeah,
and we feel as though it's good to be back, mate. It's good to be back. Obviously, the past 6 months, mate, has just seemed to have absolutely flown by. And I hate using that as an excuse because I feel like when people go and then come back, they use time as an excuse. But honestly, man, I've just been here, there, and everywhere. And I was like, you know what? I messaged Connor last night and I was
mm,
like, let's just start it up again. And we're near enough, near 100 episodes, mate.
I know.
100 episodes, but we want to bring a little bit more structure to it. Um, Topics we want to talk about, like little things such as getting people involved in the podcast and just basically shouting out who they want to for us to talk about in terms of the amateur scene. Because we do feel as though, if we're being honest, when Beyond the Stage came back on the scene or on the scene, they just sort of took it. And to be fair, mate, it's a great platform. And we thought, well, people are just going to go there for the amateurs. But now it's more heavily pro bodybuilding focused. And I feel as though they don't really cover the amateur scene as much, like you mentioned. And I feel as though we can fill that void. That's what it was all about. That's why it's literally called the Amateur Hour Podcast.
That's exactly why we started it. So for it to kind of reopen itself to us to obviously they do post about the amateurs, but it's more like the pro prospects or whatever they called it,
Mhm.
which is great. But then they don't cover everything in the amateur scene, which I feel like we can do quite well,
Mhm.
being quite
They,
heavily.
they do a great job.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
they do a great job when they always ask people who are they, like who's at this show, who's at that show. They get pictures, they update you straight away. Like it honestly is like it's like an ESPN, mate, of
yeah.
bodybuilding. It literally is.
He's done very well to grow it that quickly as well.
Oh, mate, he's done a fantastic job. And I feel as though now we can just more sort of make it a little bit more personalized and
Mm.
sort of let the people talk about what they want to talk about, who they want to be spoke about, and we can do that for them, mate. But anyway, put that to one side. We're back. How are you, mate? How are you getting on? How's the first month of the year treated you?
It's good, bro. Good. It feels. Obviously, is it 6 months since we last recorded?
I
Is that
think so, bro. Yeah.
see in my head it doesn't feel like it's been that long, but then at the same time it does. It feels like really long as well. It feels like it was only just around the corner that we last did it. But no, good man, good. I feel like January dragged a lot, but now we're into February. I'm like fucking hell, how are we already here? So
Mhm.
yeah, man, all good, man.
Good. I'm glad, mate. You moved to the new gaff.
We're in the new gaff. I'm in the new office. We've got
Oh,
medals up
mate.
over there. Gonna
I've
add
got one medal
tips.
here, mate. Look at that. And it's
I
not
s-
even mine. It's not even mine. It's Ryan's that he gave me. So everyone sees first place.
Fuck
No,
yeah.
no, no, no. I just got this garden gnome, mate.
I bought it.
There you go, mate. You won. That's me. Love
Amazing.
Eldor. That's me. That's gonna forever stay there, bro. Um, but yeah, that's not mine, by the way, guys. I might just sneak it up there just to make it out like I have competed in two bros before. There you go. That looks pretty good.
That's it. That's it, man. No, we're all good. We got a new dog, so we got two dogs. Um,
Yes.
Obviously, I haven't really been posted for a while now, so a lot of people didn't realize this. So we've got a new puppy. So that's been a long process of reach, like starting the whole training thing with the dog from the beginning again. Um, but it's sick, enjoying that. It was more so getting a dog for Apollo.
Yeah,
So
because
like,
I know that you wanted to get a new dog, but how do you find training a new dog? Because I know that you got Apollo professionally trained, didn't you?
yeah, we did one session with a professional trainer, and then we kind of just carried. We were going to do more, but we just didn't get around to it. And then he picked up, he picked it up very quickly, so it's quite easy to carry it on. And so far, we've just taken everything we learned from her in that session and doing it with our new puppy, Athena.
Mhm.
Um, so she's picking it up really, really well. And to be honest, her seeing Apollo do everything so well helps a lot. Like she's just like, oh, I just need to do that. So it's
Mhm.
quite easy. I say it's easy. It's not easy, but it's like it's a lot easier training her than it was training him because she picks it up quickly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
good.
cool. Yeah,
That's good, man. That's good. How's Apollo been anyway?
he's
Big
good.
dog.
He's good. He's a big dog. Yeah, I think we're potentially going to get him done soon, get his balls off because he's getting a little bit too like boisterous a little bit. I know when we went, where did we go? I can't remember where, but when he was at the dog sitters who have like loads of, he's got like a rescue, so he's got like loads of dogs at his house all the time. And he was like, the Apollo was just fucking trying to hump the whole time, and I was like, because he doesn't do it with us, so we don't see it, but I think we're gonna have
He
to
doesn't
do.
try and hump me, so why is he trying to hump everyone else? You know what I mean?
Exactly. I don't know why he's not humping me, but yeah, no. I think we'll probably end up doing it at some point. But he's been really, really good with her here, so I don't know. We'll see. But we're all good, man. We're all cushy.
Mate, buzzing, 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 buzzing. Obviously, we spoke off camera where you were in terms of what you've got planned for the rest of this year, mate.
Yeah.
Mate, does everyone know yet? Does everyone know? Are
Yeah,
you?
I think so. It's not. I'm not like hiding it or anything. I am still prepping. Well, not still prepping. I'm still planning to prep this year. Um, we're looking at the back end of the year, so September, October, and then potentially beyond October if we need to. But in terms of PCA, it will be PCA Yorkshire because it's round the corner, and then the PCA British, which I think is literally the weekend after. It's either
It
one
is.
week. Is it
It
1 week?
is. Yeah, because they do Yorkshire and Central back to back on the 10th and the 11th, and then
Right.
they do the British finals afterwards.
Because I
So,
remember it was the other way around before, wasn't it? It was Yorkshire then Central. Because when I did Yorkshire before, there was a 2 week gap to the British,
but yeah, it was. It usually goes Yorkshire, then Central, but then
and
they
now it's Central then
now
Yorkshire.
that's a back to back weekender.
Right. Got you.
So, because usually it was just a separate weekend. It was
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
usually Yorkshire, then Central, but now they do back to back like 10th and the 11th. I
Oh,
don't
was
know.
it on the Yorkshire and Central on the same weekend?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, so
Okay.
Yorkshire's the 10th,
Right.
Central's the 11th, and then the weekend afterwards is the PCA finals.
Okay. Cool.
So the first time they ran that was last year. Um,
Okay.
so Central was pretty quiet off the back of that.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, mate, Yorkshire was pretty good because everyone
yeah.
usually people like that, mate, don't they? When people either like that gap in between shows, but I know what's his name in 2024 he when he won the British finals. And he did
Josh.
yeah, you know who I mean.
Yeah.
He went to did Central, then he did the finals afterwards. So some people like to do back to back, but a lot of people like to do
Have a little bit of a gap, but
yeah.
yeah. So it'll be 1 week. So we'll do Yorkshire, then the British. Like I said to you just before, it's my last. So the British is on the 19th.
Hmm.
Birthday's the 21st. So it's literally my last chance to do junior by a couple of days. So I have to. That one of these black ones here was from the British in 2023, where I wanted to obviously go in to win it, and I came fifth. So
Bro, 23. 23.
yeah, because I took 24 off.
Mate,
Bro,
I
it's
still remember
flown.
that, mate.
It's flown by.
That's ages ago.
I know. I know. So that was 23,
Yeah,
where
it
I
was
came
23.
fifth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I need this is my last chance as a junior to go and win the British. So
That was the time when
that's
we
the
ate the
plan.
cookie.
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. That was like the first time we met each other, like
That was
literally.
the first time we met each other, mate.
Yeah.
Wow. Nostalgic, mate.
There will
Like,
be a few two bro shows in, well, one two bros, probably
mhm.
the physique one because it's the last regional, and then
Yeah.
post PCA British potential to go to like Norway or something, wherever the next pro
Yeah,
qualifier.
it's like the
They've got
Nordic,
the Nordic ones, like it's Denmark
yeah,
or Norway or something.
Denmark, Norway, all them lot. So
Yeah,
they usually
potentially
work
do
out
that.
that way. But yeah, the Physique Pro show is the Physique Pro show is 26th of September, I believe, or something like that.
Yeah, and
And
they've
then
got two shows on the same. I think they've got a Natty show on the same day.
yeah, and then
So
you've got the 2 weeks afterwards, you've got Yorkshire, and then you've got PC. So it's fair, mate. It works out pretty well.
yeah, it works out well. It won't be like a peaking situation for that one. It'll be just to tick the box, and then the PCA. I think for this year, PCA on my mind is more important because it's my last. It's just because of the British. It's my last chance to do it,
Mhm.
and of obviously how I messed it up with in 23. So I really want to go back and fucking win that. So you know what? If I finish the season at the British, I'm not going to be mad about it. But if there's a good show afterwards, potential for like a Two Bros or NPC Pro qualifier,
Mhm.
that's attainable, like reachable in terms of distance, travel, financially, I'm going to go do it. So
For sure, mate.
main shows in my head is the PCA ones, and then we'll fit the Two Bros ones and IFBB around it.
That's nice, mate. There's not much stress or pressure then. Not saying that
Yeah,
there's no pressure from PCA, but you know what I mean.
yeah, of course.
Pressure around sort of two bro shows and just see what it comes to. I think that's what I've done a lot of my clients this year, and one thing that I've probably made a mistake previously where and just giving them a show. And if they're not ready for it, it's not like they're not ready for it, but if I feel as though they could have been better, I'm like, nah, let's just not. And it's usually not the natural shows, but the ones where they have like 3 weeks gap in between. And it's like, oh, if we could, it's like they're bang on where they want it need to be. And then obviously you're sometimes chasing your tail.
Yeah,
But luckily I've never been in a position where I said like, oh, I wish we just like did it for a little bit longer. But I have nearly been in a position where I've told people to be like, we're 3 weeks out from this show, I have to sort of push a little bit. And
yeah.
that's where I think it's really important to sometimes have a show in mind, but look at the shows around that as well. And
Now,
if we don't get nail that one, we could nail that one as well. And with PCA, we're doing one each weekend. It's different with the natural shows, mate, because
yeah.
obviously
There's six, but they're spread
yeah,
out.
mate. There's like end of I think it's end 30th of January, February, March, May, and then there's one in like June. So there's a few in there, like WNBF first timers and novice on the seventh. You've got UKDFBA, and I'm sure there'll be like a BNBF one round there as well. But then you got the back end of the year as well, so you got to sort of nail that. But usually, mate, when it comes to the assisted and PCA shows, usually people have like northwest and then they can't do the northeast or something. Even they're back to back. But that's one thing that I would say is not sort of like marry yourself to one show, unless you're obviously in your case where you've got to do Yorkshire the week before the finals.
Yeah.
But I think a mistake that a lot
Having
of
a not a date, but like having an area of the
yeah, mate, it's like a realm of okay, let's aim for
yeah,
eight.
yeah.
Let's aim for April. If you've got the finals in what the month afterwards, and then you can just aim, and then you can get the best look to then make the best look even better for them.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'd highly recommend people doing that so they're not fixated on a show, unless it's a first time show, whatever. But if it's your first, third, second, what however many times competing or season, not sort of specifically giving yourself a show date again, unless it's a pro qualifier
Unless you really need to, yeah.
regional or unless you need it. But if you just wanted to do a show, just sort of give yourself a month or a few weeks where it's like wherever I land the best look, and you can be like, I can be ready in 2 weeks. What shows in 2 weeks? That's what I did anyway. I looked at myself, I was like, I can get ready in 3 weeks. What shows in 3 weeks? Oh, Granite's in 3 weeks. Sam, go and do, don't get me wrong, 7 hours away, but still, like I just, but luckily I was with pit stop and Scotland and
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It worked out pretty well, but there wasn't really. I just wanted to aim for April, and luckily I wasn't ready for the start of April, so it just worked out pretty well. But
Because
um,
during the peak of the season, not just one federation, there were multiple
there's
shows
loads, mate.
most weekends.
I think people are just married to it has to be a PCA show, which I do get. Obviously, it's more prestigious than like I don't know, maybe like something else of that. Like for example, Fitex. Like you probably much prefer a client to have someone do PCA and Fitex. But then again, if you've got a Fitex show which fills a little bit of a gap, and you've got the financial backing for it as well, mate, give yourself some more show experience. I
Mhm.
know Josh Bogdaddy did that as well. He won the
Yeah.
overall Fitex show. He thought, you know what, I might as well go and do it. Won the overall. And then next, the look just got continuously better from there because he was able to just sort of gather that data, and him and Andy did a really good job. So again, mate, it's all down to experience, really, I guess, from the coach as well.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all good from your end, mate. You're in a good spot where it's like, this is your what third season now with Tom?
With Tom, yeah, this is my third
Yeah,
season.
third season, mate. Goodness me, it's going to be a really good look, mate.
I'm really excited for it, man. I think if we can replicate anything close to the Scotland look, but better,
Hmm.
it's going to
What do
be
you think was good about that Scotland show?
what in terms of the look.
Just in terms of the whole experience, mate. So from obviously I was with you that
Yeah, yeah,
I was
yeah.
with you that whole
I
time.
think that show was run really fucking well. The venue was lovely. The tanning people were so good.
I thought that as well.
And just the backstage area was run like I've done two bros before where it was at Braywick, and it's very sort of like because it's quite a small backstage area. It's
Mhm.
quite like rushed, and if you're not in the right spot at the right time, you're gonna miss something.
It's
It's
like
a
herding
lot more
cattle, mate.
stressful.
It's like herding cattle. It's like,
Yeah,
yep, fruit,
yeah.
fruit.
But at the Scotland one, the backstage was massive. Everyone had their own like space to chill. They were on it with like getting people ready early, and like it was really really good. I think the whole experience of just being with a group of people chilled me out a lot more. I was
Mhm.
more relaxed. The the look in it on its own was like the fullness was fucking sick. I was really really happy with how full we were, but also
Yeah.
how we didn't really sacrifice condition for that fullness, which was sick. Um, to be honest, I didn't really see it myself until I looked at the comparison pictures from the class, and I was like, because backstage I was like, man, some of these, I can't remember his name, but the guy with the like bleached blonde hair who was
Yeah,
next,
I know. Pink trunks.
yeah, I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
Um,
I
he
know.
was,
Sorry, but I forgot his name.
yeah, I can't remember his name. He, when I saw him backstage, I was like, fuck man, he's the one. I was like, he looks sick. Um, but then when I saw the pictures back, I was like, fuck, I'm a lot fuller than I realized I was.
Mhm.
Uh, I was really really happy with that look. Like I think. Up if I can up in
Yeah.
the that
Yeah.
one.
Mm.
I like that look is fucking cool, and if I can get anywhere near that for the PCA British in the juniors, I think that but better is going to be pretty cool.
No, I agree, mate. What I got, like what Charles said. Charles been around a lot of my clients, a lot of people when they were peaking, and she said you were the most chilled person she's ever seen. Like 2 days out, day out. Like we were just absolutely vibing, mate, in that
We're
area.
just chilling.
We were just absolutely chilling. And he was just like, yeah, checking shots, yeah, whatever, take like it wasn't any sort of overthinking of the process. And to be fair, mate, I sort of took because I obviously go to every show of my clients and I usually stay with them the night before and I sort of chill them out. You sort of take things and that was one time where I massively took away and I was thinking Colin was just absolutely chill. That comes from experience as well, mate, obviously. But I remember the night before, mate, we got up, or we even got up in the morning. Yeah, Tans at this time, chill, get there at that time. There wasn't any sort of rush.
No, not at
And
all.
the backstage was, it was like a basketball court, mate.
It was huge.
It literally was like a basketball court. It
It
was
was
like,
too, it was almost too big, but like it
yeah,
was so good because everyone had their own space.
everyone was posing, everyone was
Oh,
people were on the phone, and it was like, shut
yeah,
up. Everyone was just
yeah.
walking around. And it was really well run. But you find that with the Scottish shows, mate, it's just same with Granite, man. Like there was a whole massive hall for everyone just to chill out backstage. Everyone had their own room. They had Lucasades there, they had Salt there, they had Haribo's there, they had anything that you need. They had a screen there so you could watch who was on stage, when to
That's
step
cool.
up, like little things like that. And they're an independent.
Yeah.
And but people don't realize like Scottish bodybuilding is absolutely class.
No, I would agree.
It's
100%.
incredible.
I
And
think that venue, I don't know if that's the same venue they used for Granite or
no,
PCA.
so that was the PCA was in the SWG2 arena or whatever it was. That's where Two Bros do their Scottish shows, but and Granite's in Aberdeen, and sometimes PCA do it in Perth as well. But
Okay.
it's honestly, mate, they're all dotted around anywhere between Glasgow, Perth, and Aberdeen. But honestly, mate, they're all run by really good people. I know Stephen as well, the PCA announcement. He's from Scotland, so he does a lot with Pit Stop and he does a lot of PCA Scotland. And I know he sort of helps out as well out there. So they all sort of feed into each other, mate, as well. So it's all good. And the quality and the standard that comes out there, mate, is
Yeah.
great. It's genuinely fantastic. So if anyone is thinking of doing any Scottish shows, their season starts in around 8 weeks.
Is it the first Two Bro show this year, or is it the
Yeah,
second?
mate. I think
'Cause they're posting about it quite a lot recently.
it's the second.
Is it the second? It's after the condition.
Second. The first is in Milton Keynes, I believe.
Yeah, it's
Um,
Martin's show.
yeah, and then the second one's in Scotland. But you know, all the mate, there's so many good guys doing that as well. Because
The early shows standards are really good.
the classic class last year was
Hmm.
phenomenal.
Yeah, it was Sam. Udall,
Yeah, everyone was coached by Zach Fotheringham.
who turned pro at
Yeah,
it's
I don't think he turned pro in the end.
did he not?
Not even joking, mate. He came second, and he's actually switched to open now.
Oh shit, I thought he turned pro. Oh,
I
okay.
know, mate. Same here. But I remember him doing
He won
Alex.
the overall at that show at
Yeah,
Scotland.
he won the against Dara and
Yes.
people like Hayden and another one of Cooper's clients there as well, who's quite awful at names, but really good standard of class there, and especially classic athletes and open dudes as well, mate, including yourself. That overall there was pretty cool. Big
That was
Gaz,
a sick overall.
you, the guy who won,
Chris
mate, yeah,
McCann.
joke.
Mm.
And the men's physique guys as well. We had Carl there who ended up getting his pro
Yes.
card. Mate, ridiculous standard, mate.
Really good show. Really,
Um,
really good show.
but honestly, if anyone's thinking of doing the Scottish season, I'm thankful that I did it. It was
Mm.
really good, really well run, and good people there as well. But um, but yeah, man, it was where were we before that? We're talking about making sure we hit the right shows, and but yeah, that's what I do with clients, mate. I
Yeah.
just make sure that if we have a show that we want to target, if it's first time a show, obviously got to be ready for that. But if they're more sort of open to being like, yeah, I'll just do whatever, then it just gives us a little bit more scope to run with,
Yeah.
making sure that we land the best look in general. To be fair, that's the most
I mean,
important.
if that's going to stop you from having to rush it at the end, then that's going to make the difference of how good your look's going to be. So,
For sure, mate. And along the way, you can gather data and stuff and all that thing that coaches say, gathering data. But it is true. It is true. If you have, like, for example, in your end, mate, like you might find that if you can't do Yorkshire and then you have to do one before, but then you might find that you might need that 2 weeks in between the finals. Okay, we're
yeah,
gonna have you're not gonna be in a position where if Tom says to you, okay, mate, if anything, we shouldn't really do back-to-back peaks, even if we're not going to peak for the Yorkshire one, the stress of just going there, getting the tan done, like you're not going to say no. You're just going to go wherever the second to last one is. But
yeah.
in your case, mate, it's much more beneficial to do one that's literally around the corner. But
I think what I'll take into this prep, which I didn't take into previous ones, is and I was always a fan, not a fan, but like I always basically after the show, if I had time for it in regards to when the next show was, I'm having an off-plan meal. That was I was always like that, but I think this time post Yorkshire, no, I'm going
no,
straight.
mate, I'm
Not when
actually
there's a British that
think
for me is this important. That's super.
that's not
Not
the regional is never the goal, mate. And also as well, I feel as though an off plan just it
fuck
just
yeah.
skews everything, mate. Okay, in terms of the clearance time,
Mhm.
sensitivity, digestion, as well, like psychologically, if you're not I don't mean this in a but I'm not the half I know you can just get back on plan. Some people really struggle with that transition or shift of like, oh yeah, it feels great in the moment, but they don't actually understand how it makes them feel the next day because you've had 16, 18, 20 weeks of constantly wanting more condition, constantly wanting to see the scale weight come down, and then you have that time to relax and you gain 4 or 5 pounds. You can manage it as good as possible, as
Mm.
good as possible. And if you gain 2, 3 pounds, right, it might even be a pound
Yeah,
psychologically, you've just literally been programming your brain to see that scale weight come down for the past however long. It's
exactly.
going to skew you. Okay. And the next thing you know, is that going to lead to stress? Is that going to lead to performance? You might want to therefore do more steps. You might want to do more cardio. Is that going to create more? There's just no need for it. The best
I
thing,
agree.
and this is why, mate, when Ryan won literally that there, he was making his cream of rice, mate, in the calf next door. And everyone's going, oh, yeah, I'm going to have 5 guys. I've got the pro quad. And he's literally, mate, we're making this cream of rice. He's straight back on plan.
Yeah.
But he needs that psychologically.
I
Like,
think I think it's something I've never done, so it's something I really want to do this time. I think in 23, what fucked me for the British was post Yorkshire going off plan. Then the following day, I was moving everything out of that flat in Birmingham. So I asked Tom if it would be all right if I had one more, because my dad was coming up to help me with it. I was like, if I could have one more like off plan, it would be a clean meal, but with family.
mhm.
I had like an off plan, then I had another off plan, and then I had to get back on plan for the British, and that I think that fucked me over, which is where my digestion went to shit. My
Mate,
head on the British just awful. That this time around, it's just I'm not gonna let any of it slip. I'm just back on plan. Just carry
that's
on.
it, mate. And this is where, as a coach, when I say I'm not going to get you not having an off plan, when their families come, and then
Mm.
it's like in the moment, it feels like a lot of restriction because they feel as though they want to give back to their family, and they're like, that time will come. But it's like the avalanche afterwards, mate. Okay, if you start it, if you have an off-plan meal and you haven't got someone like I said, experienced like yourself, mate, you can maybe just get straight back on plan. Like even you, mate, second season, third
Yeah,
season,
yeah, I still,
like
yeah.
psychologically, mate, like you see that scale weight come up, digestion's ruined. Next thing you know, when the body shifts, when it's so sensitive, it doesn't take a day for it to sort out. It doesn't, mate. It takes days
Mm.
afterwards. And if you've got a show like what in 14 days time, you got to try and hit baseline again, make sure the body's not stressed, as well as obviously another peak coming up as well. Like, and then you got to think about travel, all these things about next week, what's coming up, got to do this, when am I going to train, when am I going to... People don't realize
A lot to manage.
it's a lot to manage, mate.
Yeah,
Right? It's a lot to manage. And when you've got the stress of potentially not ruining your prep, but ruin how your body's responding and skewing all the data that your coach has gathered over that period of time, now going, we're going to guess how much food you're on now. It's got to pull fiber down, pull veg down, make sure all these different things, mate. There's
yeah.
just no need. And then
No,
you'll
it's not worth it.
no, mate, and you'll look back and you'll be thinking, I'm so glad that I didn't have that half an hour of eating off plan
Mm.
for a week of successful dieting or prepping. And then after your last meal or that last prep, sorry, you can have that final meal
Exactly, yeah.
that well. So that's a little thing there. If you're competing this year, it will be very easy to want something after your first show, and your family will give you cookies. And
Mm.
honestly, like I cannot explain. Like that's the worst thing you can possibly do. Genuinely, like it is the worst thing you can do. It might feel good in the moment, but I won't let my have my guys and girls be having like an off plan meal. And it sounds really harsh, mate, but it just, especially
Well,
like
it's
a
needed.
first timer, but it just skews everything, mate. And if you don't have someone who can just get straight back on plan and blank out the scale weight, maybe the digestion's off and or whatever, it's very rare to come by, mate. So I just literally go, let's just negate that. Don't have one. Get back on plan. Know what digests well, and then just literally just see it as another day done.
Yeah,
Um, and then you can celebrate it at the end.
exactly.
But now the reason why I wanted to bring that up, mate, was because like it's funny when you talk about stress being low, and then you look back at that being your best look.
Mm.
It makes a massive difference, doesn't it?
Huge.
Mate, and like, as a coach, that's literally the whole goal of a prep is to trying to bring down stress. But if I can put someone as a fly in the wall in that Airbnb, mate, we were literally what like you were playing a game. I remember you playing something on your iPad or something, mate, the whole
Playing a
time.
game or editing a YouTube video on the
Yeah,
iPad.
mate, just literally
Had
just
something on the TV. We were just
mate.
sat on the sofa, just chilling. It was like any other day.
Mhm.
That's
It
that's how.
wasn't thinking like, what's this gonna do? What am I gonna eat? How much food am I gonna have? It was like, and this is where I will praise Connor in this moment, is that he was purely just an athlete.
Mm.
It's like wait for the plan to come through, check in with Tom in the morning, yeah, bang. And I remember you having like what was it, 4 meals before going on stage? 3 meals?
What on show day?
Yeah, on show day. Like, oh, you were
Yeah,
on stage at
I
like
think I had three.
11.
I think
Yeah,
I
you're
had
like
three.
on stage at 11. You're like, yeah, he's got to keep feeding him.
Because
Like,
I weighed in lower than the day before, so Tom gave me a decent sized meal one, and then I managed to go to the toilet after meal one, weighed myself, and I weighed even lighter than the morning. So Tom was like, right, eat again, eat again. So the original plan was like 2 meals pre-stage, whatever. But I
mhm.
kept weighing myself because I was like, I feel like I'm just losing weight, which I was. So we ended up, I think it was 4 meals pre-stage, and there was
Yeah, mate. I remember
fries.
Lucy saying like, yeah, he's had like 4 meals. I was like, what's this guy? But again, mate, I think that directly links to you being just less stressed and the body just soaking everything up and just
Yeah,
literally, it's not holding on to anything. And like I said, mate, when you came out, and I feel like you doing that, was it you did the juniors as well, didn't you?
yeah, yeah.
Mate, that round of posing helped massively. And you
100%.
came out for the open
Yeah.
and you doubled in size, mate.
I was already full. I was
You're
because I didn't really because I texted Tom and I said backstage because I knew I was the only junior. So I texted Tom. I said I'm the only junior. He was like, "Cool, don't pump up for that. Just pump up for the open." So I was like, "Okay, cool." So I went out. I did the round of posing or 2 rounds, whatever it was for the junior on my own. Pumped up from that, and then I was like, "Right, cool. I need to go pump up." So I think I did like 2 press ups, and then they were like, "Come, you need to come back."
it was straight back on with
Was
it.
like, cool, sound. Came straight back out. And I remember like flexing my chest or something and I felt everything flex. I was like, oh shit. okay, I'm on. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm filling up so much from just posing.
No, mate. And that I say it to all of my guys backstage. The best way to pump up is literally just go through rounds of posing. Pump up, go to the areas that look a little bit flatter usually, which is it's either usually like the lats, top line, arms, delts area. But then the main way you're going to get better at hitting your poses and filling up the right areas in is posing.
Hmm.
So when you're backstage, hit a pose, hold, and just increase the intensity of the posing. Hold it for a little bit longer, and the next thing you know, how many times have you heard someone, oh yeah, he's got better when he started posing. Third round in, only when he's on stage, he then looks the best on stage.
Exactly.
If you're doing all of that work backstage, so then you're coming on stage looking your best, you've literally just not. People don't realize that posing backstage is super important
Yeah.
if you're in a position where you want to pump up, pose, and then I would just increase what you're doing and the intensity of the posing rounds, get blood moving. But then you're in a position then when you can go out, your poses are better because you've been hitting your poses. You're fuller in the poses that you are doing. And also as well, you're full in the areas which you find that are going to be a little bit flatter through doing your pump work. So
You-
a little trick for you guys. Hit poses when you're backstage, do
I
rounds.
think if you're not obviously I was like first and second class on. If you're a little bit later, say you're like the third or fourth class on, when you're backstage, listen to them calling out the poses and just pose along with them because that's you're gonna know how long they're gonna make you hold it for, roughly.
Literally.
Just hold it with them, like backstage, just go through the rounds with them. That would help. If I wasn't the first class, that's how I would do it.
For sure. But I would always say that's a great tip. That is like just literally go because the guy's always going to be in the same sort of tempo as well, so you
Yeah.
can go. But that's what I'd highly recommend for anyone that's looking to pump up because a lot of people they asked me before, what do you do when you pump up? Like obviously your coach should probably give you a plan beforehand, maybe, but you usually tend to know what areas need to be fuller and
Yeah.
what. Like I said, usually chest, arms, lats, whatever. But like I said, posing backstage. 2, 3 rounds. Make sure your glaze is good. Make sure your tan's good. Skin prep. I'm going through all the mistakes, mate, because a lot of people they don't think about these things, and it makes a massive difference. It does. Like
Huge.
if you do all of that dieting just to come off, and then you come, it happened to me. Came out in the 60-second pose down in my first time competing. Looked great. Yeah, great. After all the comparison rounds, like you can, of all the, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the point. So I would definitely look to do that. So you're not doing what I did in the first time competing. But it's little things like that which make a massive difference, and they do add up. The 1% add up, especially on show day. But yeah, I wanted to just talk about how being stress free. And it's really easy to say, "Oh, just don't be stressed," but it comes with confidence, and it comes with doing it again and again. But just making sure that you're going through that show day, making sure you got things packed, ticked off. You've got a list. You've got what you need. Take more food than what you think you need as well. Like Connor ate 3, 4 meals pre stage and got on stage at 11 o'clock. Always take more than what you think you need. Always be over prepared than under prepared.
Because worst case, if you don't eat it, you eat it after the show anyway. So
Exactly, mate. And it's going to be food you're going to be on plan anyway. It's usually cream of rice and like
yeah,
low portions of chicken and rice, like so I mean, low volume food, maybe like honey and raisins or honey raisin steaks, whatever. Like it's not going to be anything bad if
no.
you know
It's
what I
better.
mean.
It's better to be over prepared than under prepared. Like you need to, if you've got the extra, then just make sure you've got it just in case you need it.
Always. But that's the biggest mistake that I find when people they get better when they're posing. You think if you're just posing backstage for like 10 minutes,
Mm.
like you'd look so much better walking out. And you know how much of a presence someone has when they're walking out and they're already rock hard, full, bursted.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, yeah, he's one. Like, and your look got better massively from literally just that 10 minutes difference, mate, of posing.
Yeah.
And then you came out and then you beat people who were, I don't even know how much more older than you, mate, but as you said, thought that you were going to win.
Yeah.
So, but what mistakes have you made in previous preps? Because I know that you've done 3 preps now.
Uh, I've done three. This will be my fourth. Yeah, I've done
Yeah,
three.
yeah, you've done 3, haven't you? Yeah. What would you say is your biggest mistake that you've made on one of your preps?
I think on my first ever prep, I was so attached to doing more equals getting more.
Mhm.
So in terms of like the cardio, I remember I always thought. obviously in my first prep, right, I always thought I'm not lean enough. I'm not lean enough. So I was being coached by Josh Bridgman at the time, and when Josh told me to, I think he either lowered or took out cardio. I think he just lowered it. I was just like, nah, I need to do more. So I just continued doing what he originally told me to do. So I need to be leaner. I need to be leaner, and then I flattened off so much to the point where filling up just wasn't happening. Like I could not fill up at all. So I think being able to switch off and be coachable is something that you need. Oh, it's difficult in your first prep, especially, but
Mm.
it's definitely something that I think is the most important thing you can do. If you've got a good coach, you're paying them for a reason. Just listen, just do it because like they know what they're doing. You don't. Like as simple as it is, you don't. Like if it's your first prep, you definitely don't. So
Yeah. Mhm.
like listen because you'll learn if you want to be a coach as well. Like that's going to be quite good information for you to know, but just switch your brain off. Like it's that simple. Just
And
switch it off.
it's so, by the way, it is so hard to do that, especially when you care so much about something.
Oh,
You put
100%.
absolutely everything into it. It's so easy to do more. And at the end of the day, you can literally control one thing, and that is also two things: how you adhere to the plan and how conditioned you get.
Yeah,
Right. And usually you think more is going to get you into more condition. In actual fact, every action has a reaction, and doing more usually takes more to fill up. Like in
yeah,
Connor's instance, when you bury yourself under, it takes you, when you bury yourself a bigger hole, it takes you longer to get out. So yeah, I'd say that one. Mine was probably the same actually in terms of like overthinking things. Because
it is the case of less is more,
Mhm.
more often than not. Like when you've got to that point where you've got lean enough, pulling back sometimes seems like a step back. It's like why are we stopping? Why are we pulling cardio out? Like for me with Tom, every time I prep with Tom, my cardio is normally fully out when I'm like 10 weeks out. And the first time he did that, I panicked so much. I was like, bro, what the fuck? Like
yeah.
with Josh, I did cardio all the way up until the show. So I was like, why are we pulling cardio out? Um, but doing less equals more. Like genuinely, it works. I think that is in this case couldn't be more true.
Because that's when people think less cardio or no cardio, they think they're not going to get as lean. But then what you think now is, okay, less cardio. That means I can put more emphasis into my training. I can recover better from my training. I can put more energy into my training. It's going to make me stronger, retain tissue. I can therefore preserve my like all these different things that. But in that position there, the first time out, you don't think that at all. You think like there are other people probably working as hard. I need to
Yeah,
work as hard as them. I'm not gonna. And my cardio on my first prep mate was pulled 9 weeks out.
yeah,
And I was thinking like, and then I was thinking, and then the next week I remember I had like 12K steps, and I'd wake up at like 5, and I'd do 10,000 steps. I was thinking, I've got to replace it with steps. And then I run into like digestive stress because I literally do all my steps in the morning. I let all the food sit in my gut throughout the day, not walk at all.
yeah,
And then I go, why am I getting digestive issues? And then that's the reason why. So sometimes you overcompensate and like, you know what, just chill, like absolutely chill. And
exactly.
it's so like you said, mate, you've learned from that, and that's what made you so like such an athlete when it came to that show. But that's the reason why we're trying to say it's because so you don't reflect on your first prep and you think, oh, I could have done this. When you're always going to have that anyway. And as a coach, I especially do where I look at someone's prep and I'm there like, yeah, I could have probably done that a little bit better or this or that. But especially as an athlete, when you have a coach there, use them. Make sure that you are listening to them because they've probably been there and done it themselves in their first prep. And I've been there, I've done it, mate. And it's nice to look back on, but sometimes thinking, I'm glad that I go through it, so some people don't have
Yeah,
to.
yeah, yeah.
That's the most important thing. That's what coaching is all about. But yeah, that's the thing. And that, mate, we'll definitely do that again. We'll get somewhere for
Yeah.
wherever, but we'll make it nice and chilled out, mate. Bring in the best. I've,
Have you got anyone aiming for the British PCA?
I've got a few, mate. Not juniors though, actually.
Okay,
So I've got a few classic guys,
cool.
and I've got a couple figure girls. So
Sick.
it's actually my first time that I'm going to be prepping someone or people for the finals. Usually I have people going for the finals, and I look at the standard, and then I look at the look and how the prep's mapping out. And I'm thinking is the reason why you want to go on to the final stage is just to step on the final stage, or do you want to get a certain result that you're most likely not going to get? And that's where I've had a conversations with people, and they're like, you got to think of money, you got to think of more stress, obviously more time on anabolics as well, and exposure to those androgens and orals and whatnot. If they're taking them, is it worth it for getting a black trophy?
One of these.
Do you know what I mean? And that's even if they do get into the first call outs, mate, right? Because the standard of the classic guys,
That's
Keely,
massive.
it's huge. I don't, if you haven't been to PCA finals, there's like 15, 16 people in a class sometimes. And I'd say that's probably average, like 10 plus. And as a coach, you got to put someone's health first and not go, okay, we can prep for another 3 weeks here
Mm.
just to what say we've gone on stage on a final stage. Like that's not me, mate, at all. And every time it's come to it, I'm always there, like, you know what, you've brought the best look. I don't think it can get any better. Let's just wrap it up and get to growing. And I think that's such like an invaluable trait as an athlete to firstly listen, but also like as a coach, I've tried to really try and make things realistic as possible for
Not
guys.
just putting someone on stage just to say that
No,
you.
mate. Oh yeah, at the PCA final, it's not about that. You
Yeah.
got to think about as well their mental health. If they've come off my client came off the back of a win, and then he came second, and then I just thought 3 weeks, and I was like, I want him finishing his season on first and second, not coming like eighth in the finals. Do you know what I mean? And then it's like, oh yeah, but I did really well on my first two shows, and the last show I did really like I didn't do as well. And then they sort of sometimes you're only as good as your last ever show, whatever people say. But you want them to reflect on their prep as good. And if the
Yeah.
look can't get drastically better in that period of time, then is it worth it? In my opinion, it might be. But in those cases, for my athletes, I just didn't really
You
see
think
the
it's worth it?
point.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, you always take it into consideration that they might get into the finals and put that into the log. But then you just got to have a conversation and be like, have you got everything out? Are you fulfilled with this prep? Yeah, sound. And luckily, I've always had um, positive responses from them. They're like, oh, I appreciate you telling me that. Let's wrap it up. Let's get into whatever phase we're doing now, and then we can get back into it. And they always go to the finals and they go, oh, I'm so glad I didn't do this show.
Yeah, yeah.
Always, always, mate. They always look at that. They always look at the class and go, "Oh, I'm so glad I'm now. I've got my meals packed and I'm just in my off season and all whatnot." But
Yeah,
yeah, I think it's just being sometimes realistic.
definitely.
That's the most important thing. I think being realistic. Like I said, when it comes to your first time competing as well, or anyone competing, the success of your prep isn't determined of how good you do, but it's how you apply yourself, especially as a first timer. But obviously, in Connor's case, he wants redemption.
So, yeah,
Redemption. The redemption series, mate.
redemption, bro. It
Please
has
do
to
not call it the redemption
be.
series.
It has to be a redemption, bro.
The redemption, mate.
Yeah,
Uh,
man.
but it's
3 years, 3 years.
that's mental, mate.
That's crazy.
It's gonna be on the same stage. But I remember watching you as well, mate. I remember
Yeah.
watching you as well.
I remember sending my check-ins to Tom that morning, and I wanted to just I sent them with laughing faces. I remember because I knew I looked so off, and I knew it, and I sent it to him with
Yeah.
laughing faces, and he just said, "Right, let's just do what we can." I was like, "Cool." And I remember we got to the venue, and I took some more pictures, like in that outdoor
Mate,
where everyone.
I know exactly which one you mean as well.
I remember looking at them, and I was like, "Oh, I just want to pull out like now. I'm just gonna quit. Like this is so shit." But I'm happy I did it. Like it is what it is, but. This is literally the last chance I have for the junior British. I want to end my junior time as a British champion. I have to. So that's the
Heard
fucking
it here first, people. I wish I could say the same thing, but I'll stick to this one.
yeah, yeah. You need to photocopy his pro card and like just hang that up on your wall.
He actually gave me his overall from the show.
Did he?
He actually gave me that, mate. Even before he won his pro card, which I find mad. Um, but yeah, I've got a men's classic physique overall 2025 on my wall in this. But honestly, man, I remember someone coming around. It was actually my nan, and she goes, I didn't know you realised that. So I was like, yeah, that's not mine. Mine's a second place, mate. That's what it is. But to be fair, it's a pretty
What's your plans with? Because I know obviously the last time you competed, it was the last time. But
Hey, honestly,
since
I feel as though oh, man, it's very easy for me in that position to sort of say it was the last time, but like I do think I will go again. Definitely not this year, mate. Definitely not this year.
Yeah,
Uh, I love what you and Lucy do, where you prep together and then you can do the same show. Like that I remember the picture of you two on stage. Um, I'd love to do that with Charles. Love to do
yeah,
that with Charles. And that's if Charles wants to compete. Like Charles is the most chilled out bodybuilder ever, mate. Doesn't do it, doesn't post on Instagram, doesn't
yeah,
do,
yeah.
but she still does everything: cardio, food, meals, whatever. She goes, if it's there, it's there. If it, I'll be like, sound. So I'm definitely know my sort of lane, mate. I'm
Okay.
definitely, but I get more fulfillment through coaching.
Yeah,
So I love people putting people on stage. I love going on stage, but I get more fulfillment through taking someone through that process and getting them on stage. That's what makes me happier. But
yeah.
it doesn't mean that I don't do it myself. Bodybuilding is just a little bit different for me now, where I do the action because it gives me not purpose, but it gives me and my headspace a good thing to work towards. Morning cardio, steps, food. That's just always going to be me. But before it was like to be better at this, better next time but now it's just like I'm just going to do it anyway because I enjoy doing it. And if
Because
I
you
can,
feel good. Yeah.
and my goal is to just be in a position where I can just continue to improve me. And like I said, I put on like what, 28 pounds of muscle in between in like what, 14 months, something like
Mm,
that.
mm.
And that was for being like really militant. And I'm still that. I'm still
Yeah.
that militant, but it's not of the pressure of it being an outcome. It's more of like a process driven goal now of being like, I'm enjoying where I'm at. I'm providing a good service for my clients. I'm getting them in condition. I'm taking them through a good prep. I'm doing what I need to do. There's no pressure from my end. So that's it. Um, and that's what I've sort of learned since that prep, mate, because
Okay.
it makes me a better bodybuilder, not thinking about bodybuilding, if that makes sense.
I agree
That
100%.
makes sense, mate. And not everything is about bodybuilding now, but everything still is about bodybuilding. It's I still get everything done. But for sure, we'll go again, mate. 100%.
Good.
Um, one more time, one more rodeo, maybe. We'll see.
Maybe.
We'll see. But for right now, mate, like I said, I've got like 20 people on stage this year,
Sick.
um, which is the main priority. And then next year it might be more, it might be less. But if I was to do it again, it would definitely be in the same sort of manner that I did the last one, where I just diet for a little bit of fun, look at myself in the mirror and go, yeah, yeah, it'd be pretty
Yeah.
cool to display this. And that's what I've definitely learned from Ryan as well. Like he'll go into a prep or he'll go into oh, I might prep, and then he'll look at himself in the mirror and go, nah, it's not ready, off season. And then he'll just put on his, and he's not fixated. He just goes into a prep whenever he wants to go into a prep. And I know it's very easy for him to do that. But I think it's a good trait to have when you can just look at yourself objectively and go, I'm not where I want to be. I'm just going to go back into the gym and eat more food and get strong again.
Yeah.
That's
That's the beauty of bodybuilding.
like it's so auto-regulated, mate, what you can do. It hasn't got to be so mundane of like dieting. I've got to diet for this long to then push up for this long. Like you can just look at yourself and objectively and go, obviously, if you've got a coach, they do it for you. But sometimes being by yourself, you can just go, you know what, I'm in a good position to push up and I can just do bodybuilding for what it is. And then, okay, I've run into some, I can't eat anymore or can't do this. Or I'm not partitioning food good. And then just diet down and then go again. And then you might look at yourself at the end of a diet phase and you go, I can probably diet now for another sort of 6 to 8 weeks. Looks pretty good. Made improvements since last time. Let's display it. And then
Just
you
go
can
again. Yeah.
take yourself through that prep. And I'm so glad that I did it that way.
Yeah.
Where I just looked at myself, like, I think it was 6 weeks out, man. I was there like, yeah, I'm not far off here, and I'm pretty happy with the improvements that I've made. And then from there, I just sort of saw what shows that were on and
Ran
just
with
ran
it.
with
Yeah.
it, just ran with it. And I'm very fortunate that I did that but obviously for most people, it's not. It's nice to have that sort of goal, but I was just sort of so switched off by it, mate. You get in that zone of prep, don't you, where weeks turn into days, where it just goes and flies by. Like
Yeah.
months turn into weeks, and it just and it was there like, wow, it just flies by. And the next, 18 weeks of diet, it just goes.
Yeah.
And I remember me and you training at Intent that one day. I was thinking, this is like literally my last session
Yeah.
in England.
Yeah, yeah.
But like, it's crazy, mate. But yeah, I'm pretty thankful that I did it that way, and I'd highly recommend doing that if anyone is doing that. If they're even if you are in prep, right? I know some people have actually done this before, and they say if you don't think I'm ready to display a competitive physique, just pull my prep, and then we'll just go into an off season. I think it's actually really good to have and have that from an athlete. As like I said, but I think it all comes down to expectations and that conversation that you have with that person prior to prep starting. I think if you're saying to someone, "Yeah, bro, we can win all your shows," and then they come, and they don't win,
Yeah,
I think that's on the coach. To be fair, I
yeah.
think say to someone, "We're going to bring you the best we possibly can. That's all we can control."
That is because, like you said, it's all you can control. You don't know who's going to be there.
No, mate, not at all.
Why worry about that
No,
when you can't control it?
no, exactly. Like, mate, like when I was doing my first prep with Lewis and he won granite, and then everyone was like, "Yeah, yeah, you're going to win Pre-C Scotland next weekend, mate." Matt Warren from Yorkshire comes up.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely, mate, he nearly got the overall, and he's a junior.
Hmm.
Mate, he literally walked in, mate, looking like beard, long hair. Everyone's like, "He's a junior." I'm like, "No way is he a junior." Sorry, Matt, but mate, he looks like he looks like a man, mate. At
Yeah,
that
yeah.
point, 2 years ago, he walks in, mate, nearly wins the overall, and I'm there like, just you can't control that. You can't control it, and
Exactly.
all you can control is how you apply yourself and the condition you get into. Make sure you nail those things, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah,
Facts. But mate, that's an hour.
easy.
I feel
I
that's
think
a good one to
if
cover.
we go over our plan of what we want to do with this, with what the amateur bit,
Yeah,
and then we'll start that from next episode,
sounds.
because then people know what's coming, know what to expect.
So, mate, I'll let you run through everything, mate. I'll let you run through it all.
So, what we want to do, have like a little segment each week, amateur of the week, where, for example, we'll put on both of our Instagrams a question box where you'd put in who or just a person in the amateur scene, prepping or not prepping. Ideally, if they're prepping, it'd be better, but prepping or not prepping, chuck their name in there, as many people as you want, and then what we'll do is we'll put them all in like a little spin wheel thing online, and it will
Hmm.
pick one person, and then each week what we'll do is we'll go and speak to them and speak about them, what they've been doing, how they're looking, what shows they might be looking at, if they're in the off season, what they're doing, how they're looking at, like all the improvements they've made, etc., etc., and just give like a little bit of a highlight, a little bit of a spotlight to said amateur, and also just the amateur scene as a general and their coach and stuff like that. Because I think that's just as what we said at the very beginning of this one, is what we wanted to do with this podcast in the first place, is give a light to the amateur scene, because it's really good. Like the amateur scene is fantastic, especially in the UK. It's really cool.
Incredible, mate. And
So why not?
I feel like sometimes it actually doesn't get put into the light that it should do in terms of how incredible it actually is, like genuinely. And what we'll do is, like Connor said there, you can put forward a name or names that you're following their prep, and we can get them on. Maybe we can talk about their prep doing that way. And if their coach wants to come on, they can talk about the process of what they're going to do. Just little things where we can bring a platform to the amateur scene where they can talk about their prep, they can talk about their process, and making sure that we can provide value, which we hopefully have done.
Yeah.
Preps and everything in between, and you can know what we're doing. But the main thing of this prep, the purpose of this prep is to make sure that we provide enough spotlight to amateur bodybuilders.
Hmm.
That is it. And we can ask a few questions and do a few Q&As in the meantime, but I feel as though that amateur of the week is going to be that spotlight for that given individual or coach and individual that
Yeah.
given week. But we'll try and do one a week, and then, like I said, if we do Q&A and that one, two a week, whatever, I think the more the better. But realistically, one a week from the get-go, if we can get two out, that'd be mega. But we'll get 100 episodes in that episode 100 getting
We
going.
have to. How close are we to it? What was the last one?
I think it's an 80 odd, mate. It's in
Yeah,
the
I
80s,
remember
mate.
it being 80 something.
It's in the 80s for sure.
The last episode we recorded was 78. Very close.
78. 78. That's not too bad.
It was 200
But
days ago. 200 days ago we recorded.
that's like this.
Yeah, yeah, 200 days.
200 days ago, mate, it's meant to be. It's meant
Yeah.
to be.
And the title of it was We Are Back. So
How
back.
ironic, mate.
So back.
You're back.
This is We Are Back Part 2.
Part two. 200 days afterwards, part two.
Yeah, again.
Um, but no, thank you as always, guys. Any shares, comments, likes, anything is greatly appreciated. Like I said, the whole goal of this is to bring some light to the amateur scene while hopefully provide some value to you guys as well. So peace and love as always. Hasta luego. Peace. Ciao for now.